Hey guys, this is part 2 of piecewise-defined functions. On part 1 we learned how to graph 2, and this time we're going to learn how to graph 3 different functions on one graph. It really isn't that much different except for graphing this little part right here. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of review what we did by graphing the first graph, and the green graph. So just listen carefully as I explain this out to you. Just like I said, I'm going to set my territory. The first graph, it tells you that my x is going to be less than 2, so less than -2. So I know right here, that's my -2. So I'm going to go ahead and mark mine from there on to the left. That's going to be where my first graph is. I'm going to color coordinate it just so you can see it better. And now from -2 to 3 on my graph is exactly where my second graph is going to be. So I'm going to mark that also. And from 3 on, that would be my third graph. I just color coordinate it rather than just trying to write it down because I don't have enough space. First graph, I'm going to graph it in orange. What we'll do is we know that the first graph will start on mine when x is equal to -2, just because that's what I told you right here. So I know it's going to be on, the first graph will be on to somewhere around here. It's going to start here, and then it's going to head to the left. So we need to find that out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug into my first function. My f of x is equal to 2x plus 1, and my x is -2. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in -2 because I want to find out where my point would be at when x is equal to -2. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. So I get 2 times. That was a terrible 2. I get 2 times -2 plus 1. So I end up getting -4 plus 1, which should give me -3. So when I plugged in I'm just going to put it in order pairs because it's the easiest way to go to it. So when I plug in -2, I got -3. So that's exactly where my point needs to be. And as you see, this right here tells me it has to be open circle. So I'm going to go to -2 and -3, which will be right here, and put an open circle. Now I'm going to look at my slope. My slope is 2. So if my slope is 2, I know there's 1 underneath, so I'm going to try to graph it. So I have to go up 2 over 1. So that's where my graph would be. But remember, my graph has to go to the other way. So I'm going to change my slope by multiplying both top and bottom by -1. All that does is that it just really flips your slope for you. So I can do -2 over -1. So I end up getting down to left 1, and that would be my function on the first one. And your third one will be very similar to it, and I'll go over that at the very end if it's very necessary, but briefly. Now what I'm going to go over right now is to go over the middle part. The middle part, as you see, has 2 different values for it, just because it's going to start at -2 and it's going to end at 3. I apologize. So when you graph that, I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. But if you notice, my f of x is equal to 3. Okay, so some of you guys try to plug that in. If you plug the first number in, right? If you plug in -2, well, there's nothing else to plug in, so it's just still 3. So my order pair would be, I'll plug in -2 and I'll get 3. So I'll mark it on here, -2, and then I'll get 3, and it's going to be closed. I'm going to try to color it in right there. The second time, I'm going to try to plug in again 3. If I plug in 3, well, there's nothing else to plug in. So if I plug in 3, I still get 3. So I'm just going to mark it right here. Now it's going to be a open dot just because it tells you right here that it needs to be open, so I'm just going to connect these two. So what you need to notice is that when f is equal to just a value, it's going to be a straight line. And the third line, I'm going to finish it very fast. I'm going to plug in 3 in here, so I end up getting -3 minus 2, which is when you plug in -3, you end up getting -5. So I don't know if I have -5 on this graph, but so when you plug in, when you plug in 3, that's what I meant, when you plug in 3. And you get -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and it's going to be a closed circle. Now I'm just going to graph it with my slope. My slope on my third graph is -1. My slope is the number that's right in front of x, and over 1. So I'm going to go down 1 to the right 1, and that is the right direction it needs to go. So this was my part 2 of piecewise defined function. The only difference between this one and the other one was the fact that we had to draw a middle one, but really it wasn't too bad. Thank you and have a good day.